Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of Writer's Block. I'm Lewis, aka Spider-Man 1991, and this is the show where I talk about issues of a certain series done by a certain creator in comic books. Now today, for the second episode, I will be talking about Geoff Johns' run on Teen Titans. And if in case you're wondering why I picked this particular series, is because this is one of the first DC comics I actually started reading when I started collecting comics as a teenager, and it's also the first Teen Titans series I read. So yeah, let's get this episode started. When I talk by just giving you a brief rundown of the run, I like to call the bullet points. The series opens up with Cyborg forming a new Teen Titans team with the former members of Young Justice, which are all sidekick / legacy heroes. Third Robin Tim Drake, the second Wonder Girl, Cassie Sandsmark, Bart Allen, aka Impulse, and Superboy, aka Con-El, aka Connor Kent. Also joining the team are former Titans members Starfire and Beast Boy, who both act as sort of a mentor and second in command to Cyborg. Now, the team's first mission involves them taking on Deathstroke, who it turns out is actually possessed by his son Jericho, also a former Titan. And during the story arc, Impulse gets shot in the knee, and after he heals, he decides to be a bit more serious. So he reads the entire San Francisco library because he has a photographic memory, and decides to change his codename and costume to Kid Flash. Now, shortly after the attack of Jericho's attack on the team, everyone learns that they discover that apparently there's a new Church of Blood, for the religious order founded by Brother Blood, and they are apparently resurrecting Raven. Fortunately, the team is able to locate the church, save Raven, stop the new Brother Blood, and Raven rejoins the team. Huzzah! As a teenager, by the way, she's in a new teenage body. Just want to point that out. Now, after the whole Raven Jericho event, the team does sort of. There is another brief story that involves Beast Boy. Actually, it turns out a doctor that worked with Beast Boy's parents who helped cure Beast Boy of the virus he caught that led to his animal changing powers, has now started to infect children of San Francisco with the same serum that allows them to uncontrollably change into green animals. After that whole debacle with the green animals is fixed, Superboy and Cassie go on their first date, which is unfortunately interrupted when Superboy is pulled out of time and he returns from his perspective. While he was only gone for a couple of minutes from Cassie's perspective, from his perspective, he was gone for weeks. And he returned, and it turns out he was in the 31st century, teaming up as a member, working with the Legion of Superheroes. The Legion then, Superboy then brings the other Titans back into the future to help the Legion deal with the Fatal 500, who are basically an entire team of multiple alternate versions of the Legion foes, the Fatal Five. Once the adventure with the Legion is resolved, I'll get to that later, the team finds themselves back in apparently what appears to be their future, where all of the sidekicks we're reading about have grown up into their mentor roles. Superboy is Superman, Robin is Batman, Wonder Girl is Wonder Woman. You get the idea. And it turns out they basically took over America. That's what's happening. And not only that, but some of them are actually using more darker methods, such as Superman burning off Deathstroke's arm, and this older version of Tim, who's Batman, but he also uses the gun that killed Thomas and Martha Wayne as his main weapon. That is pretty dark, like really dark. The team does return to the present, though. They're all still shaken up by what they saw, especially Superboy, because I didn't mention this at the beginning, but at the end of the very first issue, Superboy discovers that, well, first of all, Superboy, he's a clone of human and Kryptonian DNA. And he finds out that the human donor was really Lex Luthor. So of course Superboy was worried that instead of being the next Superman, he would be the next Luthor. So now, after seeing that disturbing future, that kid is really worried. But all those things are stalled for a moment because of an event known as Identity Crisis, where Dr. Light returned to menace with the Titans just as the second Speedy, Mir Dearden, joined the team. After the Dr. Light menace is dealt with, the team then sort of admits secrets that they've been keeping from one another. And when Robin expects Superboy to go next, he doesn't say anything. But the very next issue, we find Superboy tells Robin, "You know what, Tim? I'm ready. I gotta be honest with the team. Let's do this." So, however, right as Superboy's getting ready to tell everyone about his real DNA origin, Lex Luthor interrupts him with a hidden program that was hidden in Superboy's brain is suddenly activated by Luthor, and he immediately turns against the Titans and starts attacking them, nearly killing them in the process. And also at the same time, the Outsiders, another team that's led by Nightwing, are dealing with one of their members, Indigo, who's revealed to be the 8th version of Brainiac, who's also being controlled by Brainiac and to attack the team. And basically Luthor and Brainiac have teamed up to try to kill everyone. Ultimately, though, Indigo is destroyed. Connor is brought out of his brainwashing, but he is left very disturbed by this whole ordeal, and so Connor puts himself in a self-imposed exile in Smallville and doesn't return to the tower. However, once again, another crisis affects the team when Infinite Crisis happens. Bunch of stuff happens to the team. First of all, Tim Drake is attacked by Jason Todd when Jason breaks into the tower to test Robin's abilities. Next, Superboy Prime goes to Smallville and tries to kill Connor Kent, but fortunately all the other Titans and the Justice Society show up to help Connor deal with the evil Superboy. And eventually though this all leads into the halfway point to the climax of the Infinite Crisis event, where Superboy and Nightwing teamed up to try to stop Alexander Luthor's plan to merge the multiverse together. And they do succeed, but unfortunately, Superboy dies during the process. The series then picks up 1 year after the events of Infinite Crisis, where we see Cyborg has been fully reactivated after the battle he was in nearly destroyed him, and Cyborg discovers that the only Titans on the team are Robin, Tim Drake, Ravager, Deathstroke's daughter, and Kid Devil. Cyborg then has the other Titans come with him to find Wonder Girl and try to talk her back into joining the team. Unfortunately, she's a little hesitant to do so, but after a team up with the Doom Patrol, Cassie decides to rejoin the team again. And during this time, we also learned that Tim has been trying to reclone Superboy because he misses his best friend. Eventually, the team learns that during the whole missing year between Infinite Crisis and the 1 year later story arc, they find out that one of the 20 members that did join the Titans was actually a spy and a traitor, and the only person that knew was Raven. So they decide to hunt Raven down and get her to come back to the tower. And they do figure out who it is. And at the end of the story, Raven resurrects Jericho in a full body and fully sane. And also, Miss Martian joins the team. And the final story of Geoff Johns' run involves Deathstroke attacking the Titans once again, this time to try to get his kids back with his own version of the Titans, which he calls the Titans East. And ultimately, though, it does take a combination of the current Titans and the original Titans together to take him down. Alright, and that's what happens during Geoff Johns' Teen Titans run. Now, what I liked about this series a lot was Superboy's entire story arc. This is the arc that made me a Superboy fan. Prior to this series, Superboy was somewhat cocky and full-time hero with no secret identity. But now we see that he's a bit more calm. Now we see that he has a secret identity now. He's living in Smallville with Superman's adopted parents, John and Martha Kent, and he's got his own secret identity, but he feels like he shouldn't be in Smallville. I mean, he starts off the series like he doesn't need Smallville, he shouldn't be here, but then once he finds out that he has Luthor's DNA and he's worried about if he's going to be evil or not, it does sort of become a sort of safe space for him, or just a way for him to, like, you know, get away from the world of superheroes and just kind of be a normal kid. Another interesting aspect of Geoff Johns' run that I enjoyed was the relationship between Wonder Girl and Superboy. It was really nice and a really romantic relationship. It's really good too because Superboy isn't the only one who found out something about his heritage. Cassie finds out that apparently she is the daughter of Zeus, and Ares, and also during Geoff Johns' run, Ares had been visiting Cassie. In fact, he gives her a lasso that apparently, when she uses it, also summons lightning. Well, it can kind of shock people with lightning through the lasso. Anyways, this guy kind of worries Cassie too. Like, is she really going to work with Ares, even though he's like one of Wonder Woman's arch foes? They are in a very similar situation, and it's nice romance. And there's also a really beautiful moment between the two. And when you see these two interact, you can tell that, you know, they really have a real chemistry, which is nice. And it's kind of funny because in a lot of alternate realities, Superman and Wonder Woman end up together. But it's nice in the main reality that we have one character from the Superman family and one character from the Wonder Woman family be in a relationship, which is nice. You know, they're both kids, and they really do love each other a lot. In fact, during Infinite Crisis, when they feel like it's going to be their last night on Earth, they just decide to spend it together, which is very beautiful. So there's a real sense of family established with this run. Everyone just kind of feels like, I mean, true, everyone has their own special relationships within the team. There's some members are like more honest with others, but that's kind of how it is with most families. You know, some people are closer to others, but at the end of the day, they are all together. They all know how to work together and deal with their problems together, which is very nice. It's good that I felt a lot, and at the time I read this, I was in high school myself, so I felt a lot of relatability to these teens in a way, and it was a really good story, and it told a really good story from everything up until Superboy's death. I gotta be perfectly honest, I liked most of the run, but like everything after 1 year later, it just kind of started to fall apart, and I can understand because originally, Geoff Johns also wrote Infinite Crisis, and he actually had to basically offer to have Superboy die so that Nightwing wouldn't. And I gotta be honest with you, I was in the same situation as him, because now I think Superboy is really popular because of now more people are probably reading Geoff Johns' Teen Titans run, but back then, Superboy still was probably just getting some popularity. Nightwing, he was already established. Everyone knew who Dick Grayson was, and I'm pretty sure they killed Dick Grayson. Everyone would have just burnt all of their DC comics. So, yeah, that was a pretty bold sacrifice right there. And I'm not going to say that his heart wasn't in the series. I mean, Geoff Johns, he's a really good writer, and I think whenever he does take on a project, he really puts his heart and soul into it. But I think, like, after that, after Superboy died, it just kind of, you know, a major derailment for his plans. Overall, I like the run a lot. Geoff Johns did a good job writing this, showing the relationships between the characters, also the dialogue. I like the dialogue that he writes. It's very nice, it's very natural, and that is why I liked Geoff Johns' Teen Titans run. And now you're probably asking yourself, where can I find this run? How do I get it? Well, all the issues, well, digital comics, first of all, but if you don't like digital comics, or you don't or you don't want to take up a lot of space on your tablet, they are still available in print. There's still the original 7 trade paperback runs, plus the Teen Titans plus the Teen Titans Outsiders crossover, which I mentioned, that has Luthor brainwashing Superboy, and all of these books are also available in one omnibus volume. And if omnibuses aren't your thing, and if you can't find, and if the original trade paperbacks are a little hard to find for you, don't worry, because it turns out the entire Geoff Johns' entire Teen Titans run will be reprinted in trade paperback starting May 2017. Yeah, okay, that's a while away, but hey, pre-order on Amazon. They get pre-order on Amazon right now, and you will get the lowest price, guaranteed. So that's it for the second episode of Writer's Block. Thank you again for watching. I really had a lot of fun with this series. Please let me know in the comments below what you think I should have for the next season of Writer's Block, because I really want to do another season of this. But in the meantime, stay tuned for the rest of the episodes coming out. We have about 8 more, and next week's episode will not be a DC. Don't worry. If you're wondering do I have any Marvel runs to review, there will be ones. We'll be taking the trip to the Marvel Universe next week with Marvel's very first family. Stay tuned. And thanks again for watching, and subscribe to find out to be notified when it comes out. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.